Welcome back, everybody. Comics and Cold Ones special edition, I guess. JP, I'm your host, as always, and today we're going to have a lot of fun. We got Pope Grammy with me, as usual. So what's going on, brother?
Not much, man. We have an awesome crew here from Hellicious.
Hellicious, SBI Press. So we're joined today. Yeah, I'll drink some coffee because I got to get my shit together today. So it's Friday, I think. So, yeah, you guys, I'm pretty excited to have you guys on here because it's a personal thing because I love your book, and you know, anytime you get to talk to someone that you actually enjoy their work, you know, not just something you don't read, but you have to pretend. Because I love your book, and you know, anytime you get to talk to someone that you actually enjoy their work, you know, not just something you don't read, but you have to pretend. I love your book, and you know, anytime you get to talk to someone that you actually enjoy their work, you know, it's technical difficulty. There we go.
Right?
We are so professional. I just want to warn you guys beforehand.
High tech right here.
So, yeah, we're joined from what, about 90% of your crew, right? So we're missing 2 right now. So that's terrible math. That's more like 75%, but whatever. So we have Trevor. Yes. Trevor is editor, or correct? You're editor of this book?
Editor and one of the co-founders of SBI Press as well.
Yes. So I'm going to get back to that in a minute. I'm going to kind of introduce everyone because I'm excited to talk about SBI Press in general. So next on my list, I have Mina Elwell.
That's right.
All right. You are co-writer.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Thank you for being here.
Okay.
The next on the list, I have Gio Butler.
Hello.
He is the colorist on Hellicious. And last but not least, Mr. Alan Christ. Just kidding. Medina.
AC works.
You're also the co-writer, correct?
Yeah, we're co-writer, co-creator.
Co-writer. So we're going to get into the juicy details of this book because it is awesome. But first, oh my gosh, look, I'm going to just really quick, I'm going to hit up the chat and see what's going on here. Karen Figures, she was the lady I was talking to you guys beforehand who also reads the book. She actually is sneaking some time to pop in at work, so cool.
Nice.
Anytime I can corrupt people, I'm all about that.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Let's recruit everybody.
So you got the other part of our community is we have another Pope in our community. We got Pope Cerebus the First. He is in the chat as well. So no relation to my Pope or our Pope. So you got Gomez, Comic Collector. What's up, man? How you doing? Is that everyone for right now? Yeah. So it's pretty. Like I said, I didn't really know what to expect with this time of day, but you know, apparently people have work. I don't know what that's like, but they do. So I'll start with Trevor. Kind of give me, if you don't mind, a little background. Like I'm curious where SBI Press came from, like where this you know, I know your background was with Diamond. That's kind of
Yeah, I can give you my origin story because my origin story is actually part of SBI's origin story. So real quick, I was working at Diamond, which for those who don't know, they're the #1 distributor of comics pretty much worldwide. I was a brand manager there, which meant I made the catalog that goes out to comic shops, and you know that's how comics get ordered. So basically, I'm in the hub of comics, and it was a cubicle job, and to stay sane, I would listen to podcasts while I did my work. So one day I'm listening to Harmontown, Dan Harmon's podcast, if you don't know it, and the guy that played Starburns on Community, Dino Stamatopoulos, he came, like actual Starburns himself, you know, our mascot basically. He comes on Harmontown and he has a graphic novel and he's making all these jokes of like, I printed too many of these, I've had this book way too long, it's sitting in my garage, will somebody please just buy it? And I'm like looking around like, well, this is where that's done, I should say hi. So I signed up for Twitter just to be able to get in touch with Dino. Didn't expect anything. I was just trying to like be a good brand manager, you know, and take initiative. And he actually like responded to me and he was like, I'm definitely into this. Like, let's start the conversation. And he put me in touch with this guy, Simon Ore, who is basically, you know, president and founder of SBI. He was working at Starburns as head of development. and helped Dino put out his book. Long story short, Simon and I got to talking about where we could place Dino's book, and that eventually turned into Simon like getting really inspired and motivated. Like, you know what, we could do this full time. We don't just have to do like a little side vanity press thing just for some of our friends. Like, we could actually launch an imprint like off of Starburns. And then fast forward a little bit more, he basically was like, you inspired me. I'm really stoked. This is going to be really fun. I have no idea how to do this. Could you just do this for me? And essentially just like hired me out of Diamond. And I was like looking around like, I like this job. This is a cool job, but working for Starburns, like working for the Rick and Morty guys, like who would say no to that, you know? So I took the gig, and Hellicious was basically the first thing I found when I came on at SBI. It was like the very first book where I was like, oh my God, I think I could actually be a publisher. This is a really great book, you know? And yeah, then it's just been kind of like flying by the seat of our pants ever since then.
Well, right on, man. It's always cool how the dreams become reality, right? I mean,
yeah,
maybe there was a dream you didn't know you had, and it just kind of like unfolded in your lap. So the one question,
everybody was tired of looking at my mug, so whoever's speaking.
Yeah, I'll switch the cameras around. Sorry about that. I didn't realize that they didn't like looking at you so much.
I know, man. It kind of hurts my feelings a bit.
So there's one question from the chat, which I'm assuming is more of a tongue-in-cheek question. But so is Diamond an evil monopoly? Answer in 3 words or less.
Yes,
Don't worry.
No. Gives you 3 words.
I'm sure he's always got a good sense of humor, so he's pretty regular. So, Hellicious is the first comic released by SBI, correct?
Yeah, our very first series. We before that we did Dino's book Trent, and then we did a book with Harmon, Gregory Graves. But our first like issue #1, like single issue comic was Hellicious.
So then, how did this team get pulled into this? I want to know how this came about. Like, how does one construct a team that's all over the world, literally? And then
Alan, Mina, one of you guys want to take it since I just talked a lot? I don't want to like go over the screen or whatever.
Well, when we came to you with our pitch, we knew we wanted to work with Kit, and we had just reached out to him online because I was a fan of his work. So, I mean, the magic of the internet. Mm-hmm. And Gio, you and Kit already knew each other, right?
Yeah, we worked together. Yeah. And actually, that's quite a funny story. He was just kind of talking about comics to someone over in the corner in our studio where we used to work together, and I'd spoken to the friend that he was speaking to, and he was just like, "Oh, I'm looking for a comic colorist," and I just sort of like, "Oh, that's interesting." And then the friend that he was talking to was just like, "Gio said that she's a comic colorist. Like, maybe you should speak to her about it." And that's how that happened. It was just such a weird coincidence.
It's so funny because we had never met them in person, and now we email you all the time, and we're constantly bothering you with stuff.
Yeah, it's nice. Bother us all the time.
Bother. And Alan works with Micah Myers, who we'll talk to later, on everything.
Yeah. So far, I haven't worked with another letter on anything. Like, it'd be weird, kind of, at this point. I would have been out of place. And me and Mina had been wanting to work on stuff for a while, and we leading up to New York Comic Con of 2 years ago, and at that convention, we were looking, we're like, hopefully we can find something, and it like all just kind of fell into place, and next thing you know, less than 8 months later, we had a trade. So it was we after meeting Trevor. So things kind of moved really fast with this group, and it hasn't really stopped because. Yeah, we've got a lot.
I should say we met at New York Comic Con, not the last one, but before that, so 2017. Mm-hmm. And I basically went there on a whim. The owner of Scout, Brendan Deneen, I was his brand manager when I was at Diamond, and I had just left Diamond to do the Starburns gig, and I was actually about to move back to the West Coast, but was still living in Baltimore at the time. And Deneen basically was just like, I have an extra pass to New York if you want to come up. So really it was just a matter of like, handling, you know, travel and lodging. The pass was already covered. So I was like, sure, what the heck? And drove up. And I think like in the back of my mind was thinking, this is, you know, I'm now like handling acquisitions for SBI for this new thing. It'd be really great if I found something. So I did kind of go up there for that reason, but also with like extremely realistic expectations, because I'd been to a lot of cons for Diamond, and usually what I saw there was like, it wasn't really Starburns type stuff for whatever reason. And that kind of, it's funny, actually to me it's very funny, that I walked all of the show floor at New York Comic Con, met a lot of artists, but didn't like find any projects that I wanted to pick up. So I actually came back at one point sort of discouraged. I'm standing at the scout booth, Mina is there, Alan is there, and we just started like just chatting and hitting it off. And I guess I don't know if it's ironic or not, but the thing that I found that I left New York with was like at the very starting point of the con, after I'd wandered the whole thing for hours, I wound up just being like, oh, it was right here in front of my face all the time. And I think pretty much the rest of that weekend was just talking out Hellicious and a couple of other things that we hope to do together someday. And then the thing just kind of took shape. And you guys may remember better than I do, but I think you actually had like a pitch deck in front of me the next week, you know, maybe like 10 days later or something. And from there, we were just off to the races.
Yeah. I can't remember how long it took us, but we told you that night, we were like, we'll have something to you in 2 weeks or something like that.
Yeah. And then, yeah, as far as the pace goes, I mean, a big part of why Simon and I started SBI Press was we basically wanted to create an incubator for the next Rick and Morty, for the next Starburns TV show. And it's way easier to get those things started when you have something tangible. So we were like, comics is a great way to like show proof of concept rather than just going in and saying, please buy a show from us, you know? Mm-hmm. So part of why we went as fast as we did was we're still so sure, you know, that this thing has potential to become IP and other media and stuff. And so like the sooner we could get like a paperback out that like Simon could take to meetings and stuff, the better. So it really has been kind of a madcap pace, but I think it's going to pay off.
So you guys are actually looking for like comics that could possibly end up turning into shows?
It's a big part of the mandate for sure. I mean, if there was a great comic that was just going to be a great comic, obviously we would still want it. But a lot of the things that, like when Simon and I, who, you know, as partners, when we put our heads together, we're thinking, what else could this be? Because you get this kind of like cyclical relationship where a show will sell a comic and then a comic will sell a show, or a toy will sell a comic, and it just goes around and around like that, you know, sort of recycles.
Merchandising.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
I was saying then you're merchandising.
Yeah, and we want to do all of that, and we want to do as much of it in-house and sort of under our own control and our own vision as possible, which is what's been done with Rick and Morty to great success. So a lot of that is kind of, when Simon and I met, that was really his vision of like, how can we do Rick and Morty on purpose instead of like almost by I don't want to say by accident, but it was like Rick and Morty happened very organically. So a lot of what we're doing is like, we have a vision for sort of what the style and the taste of Starburns is, and then we're looking for comics that fit that could potentially become an animated series or a movie or what have you.
Well, having read the first 3 issues, my thought was this morning, I was like, I could see this as a show. Like, I mean, I really was thinking as an animated property, it would be. I don't know if it's the art style or just the story itself. You know, I can see as being, because it's quite funny. Like at first, when the first issue I thought was going to be more of like an all ages book. But I think I've slowly decided that's probably just my fucked up way of thinking, that maybe it's not necessarily an all ages book.
It's an ongoing topic with us, actually. I don't know if any of you guys want to speak to it or not, but it's in this weird, I would say almost sweet spot where like you can sell to younger audiences because the book doesn't get into like issues of you know, sex. There's no F-bombs, whatever. It's just a gory, crazy book. And I think one of the last times we talked about this, I was like, I'm seeing kids dressed up as Deadpool at cons. You know, it's like, where is the line on this stuff anymore? Right. And I just feel like it's moving, or we're getting to a point where maybe we need like yet another rating for books, because right now it really is sort of a binary. It's all ages or it's mature. Like, is there a middle ground? I don't know. If there is, I think that's where we land.
I think people are very hesitant to rate comics because of the comics code.
Yeah.
And I think there's a resistance to that because there's so much history there. But I think a lot of it has to do with what parents are comfortable showing their individual kid. Because some kids are upset by the kind of stuff that's in Hellicious because they're upset by any violence because of what they've been exposed to, what they haven't been exposed to. But we have gone to signings where it's all kids. It's, you know, it's just whoever your parents are and whether you're going to read it with your kid, you're going to read it out with your kid, what they think is funny. It's been an interesting learning curve for us.
Well, I myself, I'm a parent, believe it or not. I know it's kind of actually I'm a single dad of 5, so I that's why the whole timing thing with me. But you know, I'm very, I don't know, I'm liberal. I don't know the word to use. I'm an anti-censorship person. First of all, I've always got beef from that my whole life as a parent because I'm a big believer in the artist intended something, whether it's music, comics, books, whatever. It was intended a certain way when it was written, developed, or whatever. So I really am anti-censorship completely. So, but I also think that, you know, yeah, I have to be the judgment call. You know, I would have no problem letting my 9-year-old read this book. You know, that to me is not an issue. You know, some of the stuff that, I mean, there really is, I think the line has blurred so much in society now between what is like okay and what's not okay. Because, you know, I see some crap on YouTube not related to us that is like, you know,
blurred line.
I come home and I'm like, what the hell are you watching? Like, why are you watching this? Here, read this book about a little girl in hell. way better. But anyways, yeah, I get like, you know, I had mixed feelings while reading it. Like where does this fit into the comics world? So that makes sense that you guys have the same struggle.
We joke all the time that it's like we're teaching good family values from the devil.
Right.
We really want it to be like a core good story, like about, you know, her family and what it's like to be in her family, and we wanted that to be strong. We wanted her mom and her grandpa and them to be like a real family and somebody who you could relate to, and you want your family to be like that. But they really, it's Satan. It's actual Satan. You know, we don't blur that.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one of the first questions I had from Catherine Figures was, what inspired Cherry? Like, where did this, you know, come from?
Well, I think my favorite thing about Cherry is that she's very much a kid in hell, but it isn't like a kid like to hell to her is her hometown. You know what I mean? So nothing in hell is anything more than like mundane or boring to her. You know, other than like her fun games that she likes to play, but things like a 3-headed demon with like spikes all over the place that's just like a squirrel to Cherry. I love having that perspective when you combine that with the Damned, you know, especially Briggy. It's like it's just a constant of like, oh man, we're in hell, you know. And Cherry's like, dude, this is Green Street, you know. I'm just getting over there. I hate this bus stop or something, you know, like that kind of perspective in hell just never gets old, especially writing it. It's kind of like a cheat code, really. It's and you could do you could manufacture any joke with Cherry. It's like Cherry hell on never-ending joke supply, really.
I'm going to show some people in the chat may not know exactly what we're talking about, but this is the copy of issue 1 here. You see her. It's super cute. Like, I really like the Bone Demons. I'm not going to lie. That's one of my. They're just adorable.
Yeah, no, they were. Just don't stare into their mouths for too long.
Well, you know. I don't know. Like I said, I was drawn to it initially just from going through previews from Diamond Distributing. Since is there even another distributing company out there? Like, I'm just curious. I don't even know. Like, is there? I don't even know there was anything else.
Not really. Not for comics. It's interesting. I mean that potentially goes down a huge rabbit track. This big tangential thing, but It's basically Diamond is considered a periodical distributor, and there are tons of those, but none of the periodical distributors do comics. It's really just Diamond doing it. And I know there have been times where they've tried to change that, and one of the big times they tried to change that led to the borderline crash of comics in the 90s. So everybody's kind of like been afraid to rock the boat. Or at least that's sort of the vague, let's not make it Diamond podcast answer to the question.
Sure. I get it. I mean, I don't know. I have no problems. I've never had a problem with diamonds. I used to work for a comic shop back in the day, and you know, I was the guy who always got the phone calls from the reps. You know,
Oh, cool.
you know, it was kind of, I don't know. I enjoyed the business side of comics as well as the entertainment side. So you know, it's all good. But there was someone in the chat said, "What other comic character would you like to see crossover with Hellicious?"
Ooh.
Good question.
That's a fun one. Yeah. Huh.
I really like the Lucifer from the Sandman universe who quits.
I love that story.
It's such a good one, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm such a big fan of Sandman in general and that afterlife.
I don't have a thought out reason for this. This is purely graphic in my head, like just what it would look like. I would love to see Cherry walking hand in hand with Swamp Thing. That image to me is like, I would have that blown up on a poster on my wall. That just seems really, really rad. Because you'd have like fire coming out and also like flowers sprouting, and that would just be like, oh my god, yeah, that's my answer. I don't know what that story is at all. I can't think that quick on my feet, but I like that picture.
I could see her riding on the shoulder of like Hellboy. As he's
that's good.
Walking through, you know, one of his misadventures. Yeah,
I've just been reading. I've just started reading the comic of the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Because obviously the show is out on Netflix. It originated from a comic. I just started reading that, and I'm thinking the Sabrina from that comic would probably be a good sort of big sister to Cherry.
Aw, she needs a big sister.
Yeah.
It really does. So, like, I feel like, I mean, I was never an only child, but that would be such a tough position to be in, an only child, and I don't want to say in hell, because it like Alan said, it's her norm, so it's not like she's not like, oh my gosh, I'm in hell. You know, it's just literally, oh, this is my home and it's boring, so I got to play games with all these souls just so I can entertain myself because I'm a child.
Yeah, well, I think what makes it, I'm sure Alan touched on this, but like there being no other kids is the.
Well, it's just, yeah, it's, I don't know, it's something that like lonely feeling, you know, of being an only child and no one to hang out with except for these monstrosities that you
farting demons.
Yeah, I don't know, it's adorable, but at the same time it has, like, I love the humor, some of the stuff, especially with the Biggity. Is it Biggity? How you say it? Biggie?
Oh, Briggy.
Sorry. Just, you know, the ending to issue 3. I will not spoil it for anyone because I want you guys to go buy the trade or whatever. I will put a link in. Is there like a good place to send people to buy directly from you guys or something like that? I can put it out there in the chat.
Trevor, where's the best place for people to order from?
Their LCS.
The local comic shop would be my answer for sure, because that's still like building up that kind of like relationship and rapport with retailers is huge. It's on Amazon, and well, the trade is on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. Barnes and Noble actually did a pretty big buy-in, so like go look for it at your local Barnes and Noble if you don't have a local comic shop nearby. I know reps over there who would really appreciate that, actually. And then we're actually in the process of setting up our own shop right now, but it's not quite ready yet. But when it is, it'll be starburnsindustries.com. And then there'll be a link off of that to our books.
Some art on the wall.
You guys plan on doing some like merchandising, like as far as like posters or figures, T-shirts, hats?
That is actually a conversation that's been going on this very week. That we have a lot of promising things kind of in the works right now, but it probably won't be until maybe into the new year before we start having like some like really legitimate things to show. But if we did, yeah, I mean, we could always do posters, I suppose. But what we're really focused on right now is like legit merchandising, like toys and plush and stuff like that.
What would you like to see as somebody who has read it?
Say that again.
Well, it's funny that you say that you earlier about the bone demons and them being really cute.
They'd make an excellent plushie. Definitely.
Absolutely. I mean, I could, because I have a creative mind, but I could like see a whole like vinyl figure pops, the whole 9 yards. Like, there's just so much opportunity from merchandising standpoint. I'm not a pop collector, but if you guys remember back when South Park used to have the little figure packs, I mean, how cool would it be to see, Cherry with a bunch of those little bone demons, like kind of in a little pack together, or Brigby and his little, with Mickey, gotta have Mickey pack. But anyways, yeah, I'm a t-shirt guy, so we're in the process of working on our own merchandise as well. So for our show, like I don't know if you guys saw the logo with the shark tits, and yeah, that's our mascot. Which, not to, I don't know, hijack the conversation here, but we haven't done our contest to name the freaking mascot yet, man. We forgot to do that the last 4
years. Drinking, man. We had business to take.
We had so much booze going on, we hadn't time.
So I couldn't keep up. I just started chugging.
So at some point, we're gonna have a name the mascot contest for our shark lady. I have a name that I like in my head, but I want to give the opportunity to the community to name her. So that's kind of how we roll. We put a lot of stuff into our viewers' hands, as we learned is always a good idea. So yeah, like your question was what we would like to see as people who've read it as far as merchandise goes.
Yeah, just because we're still having that conversation.
Well, I mean, for me, obviously, I think there's main characters like Briggy, Cherry, but like I love the little 3-headed Cerebus puppy that like in there, like that. As soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, it's a little Cerebus. It looks like a 3-headed pug. I was like, that's awesome. I was trying to think like
later. Coming back.
What was that? You got cut off.
Oh, he's coming back. He's gonna be a bigger deal later.
I was hoping so, because I saw that and I was like, that's awesome.
What's the origin on the little pup? I mean, was that one of you, like right out of one of your guys' head, or was it a group effort?
Oh,
well, I'm part of a package deal with French Bulldog. He's really the genius of the operation. So, we had to include him in the story somehow, and I mean, he's there from the jump. I think the first time you see Cherry, like in Hell, you see Cereverse. Like she's in issue 1 when she's checking her watch.
Yeah, she's riding on him.
She's riding on him. Yeah. So we wanted we want Cherry to have like a stable of companions, because like friendships is all her thing. So, but
well, she used to have more to do with reaping, and she used to be like Charon the ferryman. Mm-hmm. So we had a lot of those Greek references early on, like having a 3-headed dog.
Oh yeah, that's how I think. That's because like I just thought it was funny because that every time I had that in mind, I was like, okay, we have the ferryman. I was like, are we gonna have the guard dog? And then all of a sudden I see a little animal. Like, would it be okay if I spoil that?
Oh,
just a picture of it in the book.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Honestly,
like when I saw that, I just lost it. I just busted out laughing.
He is honestly the cutest.
Yeah, it's kind of I don't know. I just keep going back to just being drawn, to the book as an adult, but because I like dark, gritty comics. I mean, I'm an indie guy, true and true. you know, I love horror comics in general, and you know the title, like, like I'm curious where the title came from. You know, like who thought of Hellicious? Like, what does this mean to you?
Well, okay, so Hellicious there's an earlier version of it, which was my thesis back when I was in college. Because I was a screenwriting major at School of Visual Arts. And back then it was animated TV. And because I know you also have some Infernoct there, you know that all of my titles are just two squished together words. So it's just, delicious hell. It was a very different story concept then. Once Alan came in, we changed a lot of it, but I think that core vibe is still.
Yeah, it came named as Hellicious. So that would be cool. I'll set it for Nina. And I mean, it just rolls off the tongue,
Yeah.
And yeah, just yeah, it works fine. We've had a little run in. A lot of people call it Hellicious, but like we're kind of trying to erase that word. Hellicious rolls off the tongue way better.
Yeah, I guess it never occurred to me Hellicious, but I think of delicious, Hellicious, whatever. That's cool.
Freeway pun.
There was a question here in the chat really quick. Do the heads have different names, like the three heads?
Oh. I think it's just one entity with three heads, right?
Yeah. Like it would be same personality, same heads, but I mean it does multiple functions. Like one head could be sniffing a good butt, the other one could be it's very it can multitask very well.
Multitasking.
One head could be appalled by the butt sniffing head of the other.
Yeah.
But I think it's like if your hands, like if you had multiple, like if you had more hands, you could still do more things.
That's true.
I only had another hand.
So Gio, you're the quiet one of this group. So what is Hellicious to you?
Dream come true, really. Yeah, it's just it's a dream project. It's amazing. The colors are really sort of, as soon as I saw some of the concept art that Kit made up, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. The story is just brilliant, and the people that I'm working with are just fantastic. I feel so lucky. So yeah, Hellicious, just amazing. It's great. Yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a legitimate fan.
Same. I'm with you. So, I mean, the colors are amazing, right? They just pop. Like it's all very, I don't know, it feels right, if that makes sense, like natural. It feels like a organic flow to everything. These are the first 3 issues, guys. So those that are curious about the book, I cannot stress enough. I have it on my pull list. Now, I don't have an LCS locally, so I have to do everything via mail or online ordering. But I do have a pull list about 2 hours away in a little shop up in the Dallas area, and they ship to me once a month. So thankfully, I was on a little what do you call it? We had some flooding, so I took a detour, and I ended up in this town that had a comic shop, and they have a very large comic shop. And I went in, and they actually had this on the wall, so I bought everything they had left. It was 2 copies of issue 1. And then 1 issue 2, issue 3. So I went ahead and picked them all up anyways, even though I already had them in my box 2 hours away. But
thank you. That's awesome.
I wanted to be able to read them, and I'm a big fan of supporting, indie, whatever. You guys obviously are here for a reason, because I want to support your book. And hold on one second.
The daddy.
You hear the daddy?
Weird. He calls
Cherry? All right, I'll let Sean take over for a second, and then I'll be right back.
Oh no, like I love this actual storyline. Like I used to be in a band before I actually went to college, and then became a part of my college. And so I love the fact that, like, you can tell me shut up if I'm spoiling too much of like the trade back, but like I love the fact that like Cherry called him out on his fakeness, like eating like live animals on stage, and she's like, "Oh, you're the greatest." stuff. Like I love the whole aspect of it. He's just like, I don't do that stuff. It's not real.
Yeah, that's something like Alan and I talk about a lot, wanting to draw like a line between Briggy's stage persona that Cherry thought would be a good best friend and who he really is.
Oh, I'm definitely not going to spoil the end to it, but like the end of the trade back is perfect. Like the unexpected guest that shows up, I was just like, I was just like, oh yeah.
It gets so much better. Oh my god.
I'm really glad to hear that because we made kind of a last minute decision to cut it there and do actually 2 smaller trades instead of 1 big one. And part of it was that, again, we don't want to say what the ending is, but I think we all agreed, like, that's a really strong hook. Like, that's a great stopping point.
To me, that was perfect. I mean, I was just like, oh, shit.
That's really nice to hear.
Yeah.
That was a Trevor idea, and we were like, oh.
It's always good to see, like, it's working, you know, and like Gio says, it gets so much better. It's like, it's always hard to talk about it because we're like on, you know, a couple arcs later, and that's like, I think I've been saying when talking about Hellicious for the past 4 months, I'm like, just you wait, or like, if I can't like, I'm like, oh yeah, you thought that was good. Wait till like, it really does feel that way, and it's like that. It's like that with like if every part of the project from. Sometimes I'm like, all right, I've seen the craziest stuff Gio and Kit can send us, and then it's like, oh no, I haven't, you know, and it feels like that every new issue, and the story gets crazier and crazier, and like Trevor rarely says no to like anything me and Mina will throw at him, so it's always an exciting time, and we're really glad the story's connecting, and like it. Our goal was really to open the world as much as we can with each. I would say with each new stride in the story, we just want to open it because it is hell, you know, and it just gets better.
Yeah, I would add, and I bet Mina could elaborate on this too. One of the things that drew me to the book initially is they're not just doing like your traditional sort of Judeo-Christian vision of hell. It's this original thing that's kind of an amalgam of a lot of mythology, and it really just opens up the story to kind of do whatever Alan and Mina want, whatever we want. You know, there's things in I remember in the early scripts where I was like, this is called a tundra beast. Tundra makes me think of ice. Does that mean hell is freezing over? And then I was like, you know what? Switch your brain off and just let them get as crazy as they want. And that's actually sort of been my default all along. It's like, as long as the ideas aren't like literally bad, I'm down to do anything, you know, and that's what we're trying to do is just and like Alan said, like we want to open the world up. I think we've spent the first arc establishing who the characters are, and now I think the next task is sort of establishing the character and the scope of hell itself. And so Alan's right; it's just going to get crazier from here.
Yeah, I think because like hell itself is kind of a character, right? I mean, it's just
For sure.
it's just so much opportunity and lots of playground space for you guys to play with. So it's pretty awesome.
That's what they said. Like you have mythology, you have like Dante, you have actual religion to draw from, like different religions to draw from. But, I mean, there's just so many elements in it. Because I like the different perspectives. Like I like the perspective of Cherry and how she sees her environment, and then you have the different perspective of like the different demons because everything is just. That's how they live. But I have a big question, and I'm pretty sure it'll probably be answered in like future issues. But it's like, you know, there's a big presence of like, there's a single mom raising here. So like, it's kind of like, where's Cherry's dad in all of this? Where's the papa?
Have you seen Sin? I don't think he needs it. I don't think it. It's. I don't want to like. Pop any bubbles, but it's not as important really. Like we've never really put much thought. We've kind of like we have some. I guess I don't know. With Cherry, really, her parents. It goes from like she's got Sin and she's got her grandpa. You know, and like she's probably had that her entire life. Which we you know, her age could be anything from what you think it is to a billion jillion years. You know, it's an exciting element. Apart like. Cherry is a demon, you know, despite looking like a little girl, she's a demon, and it's something that we really use to influence the family aspect. Like it, I think part of that is why Cherry's more like when she's looking at Briggy, she's looking more as like a friend. Like she's like, I got family, you know. I need a buddy. I need somebody to go ride the beach with, you know.
Someone she idolized, and like, you know, like she, you know, he was in her scopes, and I like the fact that, you know, like she's being very, very like hush hush about it as much as she can around her family and stuff. But I mean, you know, I don't care if there's ever like a dad thing, and like, you know, it doesn't even have to be mentioned. I was just kind of wondering because I do like the aspect of like Grandpa Satan.
Definitely talked about the different possibilities of Cherry's family tree, and like I think there's different possibilities there, because you could think about it as like, oh well, you know, she's a deity in a way. It could be like an Athena bursting out of Zeus's head scenario, which is probably what Cherry thinks is the situation. But I think in future arcs, like stuff you're going to see later on that we're working on now, even though we don't explicitly state what happened, I think you're going to get a sense of what happened.
Cool.
Okay. That's really cool.
I like to think of Mama as like you know, the Virgin Mary of hell.
The Virgin Mary of hell.
she brought forth
just sculpted her out of clay. Like, here you go.
Or maybe Grandpa Lucifer had some.
He's a real fun one to play with, I'd say, with Family Tree. If like Gramps says, you know, he's been Gramps from the jump. Like that. We like to think that when he finally got his to make hell, he was like, well, this is gonna be like my playground forever, you know. And he's a lot of fun to play with. And we do explore more and more of Cherry's family and how it extends in these upcoming arcs. I would say, or maybe you're like, I can't spoil too much, but our first major cast addition is a family member who I think will fit in quite nicely.
Micah just dropped in.
Gee, surprise!
Micah!
Everybody.
Micah Myers.
Welcome.
Everybody's making noise for me.
I have to go ahead and
Y'all
say,
can see me and hear me.
beard, buddy.
I can't do either. Hold on a second. Let me figure that out.
We can hear you.
Yeah, we got you.
Anybody?
Yeah,
No, but he can't hear us or see us.
Oh. Well, okay.
The magic of live stream.
that's a massive beard, bro.
I already said it, JP.
I don't care. I'll say it again. That's a massive beard, bro.
I hope I look crazy right now with everybody talking.
I think he thinks we can't hear him.
So, is Gio and Pope the only one that's day drinking with us today?
It's not technically daytime where I am.
It's not technically any time where I am.
It's beer o'clock wherever he's at. So,
Comics and cold ones. Hey, Gio, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking mead.
Ah, mead.
Classic.
so what is mead?
Pardon, sorry?
What is mead?
Oh, it's like honey wine.
Okay.
So it's very sweet.
I've had it then. I just want to make sure it's the same thing as I was used to. You know, different countries, different. I got really sick on some mead once. Like I had an allergic reaction to it. It was pretty bad. But yeah, I was up in Nebraska when I.
Oh no.
They have a meadery up in Nebraska, and they make all kinds of crazy stuff. One turned out to make me sick. The other one was like a jalapeno mead.
Wow.
It was pretty badass.
I thought you were going to say one was trying to kill you and the other one was saving your life.
kind of.
One always does.
2 beers.
No, that was like one month ago, and I had to do the whole 2 beers at one time thing. It was terrible, and I had to chase it with another one. Yeah, I don't know if you guys ever drink like I'm a big craft beer kind of guy, so I was trying the Bud Light Orange, which ultimately tastes like orange Kool-Aid. So I was that with some
Why were you doing this to yourself?
Because I'm one of those people that I'm very spontaneous. So I saw a commercial, and I've never had like Bud Light. There's nothing I've ever drank because it doesn't interest me. But I'm like, oh, it's orange. Okay, I'll just go ahead and grab the 6-pack on my way out with my other stuff. And you know, $83 later, you're like, oh shit, I probably shouldn't have bought so much beer. But now I gotta drink it all, right? That's just
oh no,
it's terrible. But
Mike, can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you now. Yes, I just
man.
about like
felt like what if he's just sitting here feeling ignored because we're assuming.
No, it's okay. Yeah, I didn't want to jump in and go, oh, I can hear you now, right in the middle of his sentence. So I was waiting for there to be a lull before I shouted it out.
I just forced it. It's fine. That's what I do.
Cursed by your own politeness.
I know.
Wait, how long were you waiting there quietly for? Because I would have gone in like steamrolling. Like I would have been. That was so calm. Having those technical difficulties, I would have been freaking out, man.
Did y'all hear? Could you hear me saying I can't hear any of y'all?
Yeah.
Like I could. Okay. I didn't know because I couldn't hear anything, so I didn't know if y'all could actually hear me going. I can't be hearing anything. And I was like singing to myself. And I was like, oh God, I bet they can hear me. Okay.
You and the whole world. Us and the world. Well, Micah, I'm JP. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. How you doing?
I don't know if you know the rest of the folks on here. I got my co-host Sean, Poke Grammy.
What's up, man? Thanks for joining us. Glad you made it.
Oh, thank you.
And then maybe you know some of the other people. Have you guys met?
I know everybody, but not. I've met everybody in person except for I assume it's Gio, because that's how you say it. Or is it Gio? Gio.
Nice
Okay.
to see you.
Nice to see you too. And also, I've never met Trevor in person, but I've talked to everybody.
Yeah, we've chatted. But this is the first time we've like actually seen each other's mouths.
Yeah.
Changes the whole thing.
Yeah, me and Alan and Mina and me were met. Well, I met Alan a couple years ago, but we all hung out at Heroes a couple years ago. Oh, and at New York Comic Con too. I forgot about that. Where she sat on the table the whole time and startled people.
Yeah, everybody they thought I was a mannequin. It was very alarming.
So you said Heroes. Are you referring to the Heroes Con in Charlotte?
Yeah, the Heroes Comic Con. Yeah, in Charlotte. Yeah, they we stayed in a hotel all together. Not Mina wasn't there. Mina stayed in a Airbnb, but everybody else stayed in a hotel together, and we had dinner every night and all that good stuff. That was good times.
Very cool.
It was a good Airbnb. Had a fish.
What's that?
It was a good Airbnb. It had a fish.
What is it? Like a bed and breakfast? Is that what that is abbreviating?
Like an Airbnb is one of the ones from the app. Like you stay in someone else's house for less money, more days.
Sweet. I stayed in a hostel this year at Emerald City Comic Con. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna live in the moment. It's $37, and
right.
What happens? I get murdered, and it's not that big a deal.
$100.
It's not that big a deal.
Killed.
$37. My life. Fuck it.
Well, I mean, I got like this. This has been like my year of comic books, if you will. Like I started out in March. I haven't been to a comic convention since I was like 16. I'm 41, if that gives you an idea there. So I got offered from another YouTuber to go to Seattle if I just had to pay my airfare, basically. It's like no big deal. He had a hotel for a couple nights, and I was just going to take off. But then I did one of those flight things where you have 3 days so you can actually leave because of the way they have it structured. So I'm like, oh, shit, I only have for 2 days, and then I don't have a hotel for Saturday, so what am I going to do? And we were there, and I met one of our artists. She was actually our first guest we had on our show. Her name is Sora Sung. And
I know her.
She's like, hey, man, I got an extra pass. You want to spend the whole weekend? I was like, do I get to be like your slave boy? And she's like, yeah, I'll do it. That's cool.
I'm just going to go to Starbucks and then
So yeah, I just kind of did that, and then I was like, well, I don't want to spend $200 in a hotel. What are my other options? And they're like, $37 in the international district. You can sleep with strangers. Like, perfect. This is.
I like how you worded that.
International district.
Whatever floats your boat.
Yeah, well, I mean, they lock you like it's secure, so like random strangers can't pop in on like your floor or your area. You just have the four people that are in the room.
Narnia syndrome kicking in. I was in a place where I could sleep with strangers. And I didn't get in trouble.
That's true. My bunk mate was from South Africa, so that was cool. He took my bunk, and I didn't argue. So I'm like, hey, you're a big guy. I'm good. Sleep well, sir. Sleep well. But anyways, yeah, it's like so I went from there. So are you guys going to be at C2E2 next year in March by chance? Do you have plans that far in advance yet?
That's something I'm working on. My answer right now is I hope so. We're kind of like looking at what conventions all we can get. Sorry, I'm actually speaking for SBI. I don't know what. I didn't mean to cut across you, Mina. You may have your own plans.
Oh no, I think Alan is. So I was speaking for Alan.
I've gotten in like somehow or like through either a friend or an artist or somebody that I'm working with. But every year so far that I've said, oh, I'm gonna be there, something crazy happens in April and I end up not being able to go. So this year I'm just like, if all goes well, I should be there.
Well, it's in March, so you should be safe.
Okay, that's a new one. How I can't wait to like ask convention questions, but how far apart are in ECCC this year?
How far is what?
How far are it and ECCC from each other? Like ECCC is also
they're pretty close proximity. I believe ECCC is the beginning of March, and 2 weeks later is C2E2 at the end of March.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like an alphabet game.
Yeah, we're like so close to each other. Like, I've been trying to do like Awesome Con forever, but it's always during another convention.
Heroes.
Yeah,
Probably the same weekend as Heroes.
Probably the same weekend as Heroes, and I'm like, why are you guys competing? We should be. But yeah, that's a rant for another time.
Yeah. So we did.
Can we go down the panel and find out where everybody lives?
Like, you want their addresses, man? That's crazy.
I want to know. I want pinpoint accurate, like
GPS your location right now.
Well, I guess what I'm asking is because like I used to live in North Carolina, so like I've been to. I used to shop at Heroes before they started doing cons when I was a little kid.
Oh wow!
So I think it's cool that you guys met up at Heroes, and you know, now that I live in Berea, the closest thing to me is Lexington, where they have big cons. So I just kind of want to have an idea of like where you guys live, and just to throw it out there that if you do Lexicon, you have a place to stay.
Who wants to go? I guess I'll go first. I'm Portland, Oregon.
Okay.
So West.
Nice to meet you, Portland.
And I'm an alcoholic.
I was going to say, how much have you had to drink? How many days sober? You need a chip?
0.25. So you're Portland. What about you, Mina?
I'm usually on the Lower East Side in Manhattan, but then I also bounce to upstate New York, back and forth.
Oh, you're just a vacationer.
Yeah. No, I'm subletting my place, so I'm upstate right now.
How about you, Micah?
I'm in Portsmouth, Virginia, near like Virginia Beach and Norfolk and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, I've been there plenty of times.
Cool. Yeah, Portsmouth.
You were not in either of those places.
Yeah. I'm very, very far away. Yeah, I'm in south of England, so kind of close to London.
Plan on doing any US cons?
I would really, really love to do that, Trevor.
Do you ever come over to America to do stuff?
No, I don't travel abroad a lot, but I'd love to. I would be well up for that. Yeah.
I've never left America either.
Come on, Trevor. I don't know why we're putting this on you.
Did I just get somebody in trouble? You're like,
no. We're in a planning phase for 2019. I want 2019 to be huge for us, so I guess it is kind of on me to figure it out. Yeah, I would love to have Gio and Kit out here. I want to buy everybody drinks and sit around a table and watch whatever weirdness can happen.
Oh, it'll definitely happen with Kit around.
I really want to.
Never able to talk to Kit. We try so hard. We tried to get him here.
I'd want
very shy.
I'd want to try and keep up with Kit, and then like 2 in the morning, okay. But that's where I'm from. I'm from a really warm, friendly, welcoming state of New Jersey.
Oh, nice. Nice. I've met someone from New Jersey once.
Were they warm and welcoming?
Were they Bam Bam Bigelow?
Nice.
They're very unique. I like to. I'm a lover of all people, but I love the fact that they're very
people in New Jersey are not. They're not a lover of people.
No, not at all. But my experience is minimal, so I can't like say one way or the other. But this particular gentleman, he was pretty brutal, but I loved it. Like it was one of those. I like brutal honesty. Like I love people that are just like straight up like, hey, fuck you. I'm like, all right, I got it. No problem. I can work with this. But
you know where you stand.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you for your honesty, sir.
So you guys are all over the place. You hear my son in the background wanting some attention there. So hold on.
Where's my mustache?
He said, "Look at my mustache." He's 3, so I'll be taking Hellicious very soon.
I love it.
So, anyways, so a couple questions here. Looks like not a whole lot going on in the chat, but like I said, it's kind of a random time of day for everyone. So.
Might as well jump on it. We have to talk about it. It's the beard, man. Micah, you have an awesome beard.
Oh, thank you.
And Pope C, the other Pope in our group out there in the comic book community, he says he wants to borrow that beard, and he said he'll have it back by sundown. Clean and pressed.
I've been clean shaven once since my marriage. I had a job at FedEx for about a week, and they made me be clean shaven. But other than that, I haven't. It's my kids didn't recognize me. My wife didn't recognize me. It's not gone away.
I literally thought you were gonna say I've been clean shaven once since birth. I could see that.
Man right there.
I went to a private school, and we had to be clean shaven. Like, of course, in elementary school you didn't have it, but in high school we had to be. And they would give us if you showed up to school with like stubble, they would give you a razor, and you'd have to like go and shave in the bathroom, dry. No, they didn't give you no shaving cream, just dry. Yeah. So I had to do that a couple times.
Where the fuck did you guys go? Like that's what the fuck.
Yeah, there's a lot of beard discrimination in the South. It's this weird thing, like certain conservative groups, like if you got a beard, you're either a hippie or Taliban. That thing's got to go.
There's no lube for you. Just like take a razor to it. God.
Well, if you shave with lube, then you got some other kind of not issues, but that's a fetish that you can keep to yourself. I mean, I guess. You don't have to share it.
Oh no, I mean everybody should just let their fetishes go free.
Let your freak flag
fly. Oh yeah.
So is there going to be a part of hell where you have to shave with no
when you see it, you'll know.
Like a camo appearance.
Yeah, I see in the background, like, I know what that part looks like. Or at least Micah does. I don't.
It's going to be a part of hell where they send you to the bathroom with like a razor and no fucking shaving.
And the razor's just like dull and rusty. And
with like little cuts in it.
Oh gosh.
Dang.
So this is probably more of a Trevor question, but you guys can chime in as well. So what's next for SBI Press? What's down the pipe that you can talk about?
Whoa, gosh. a lot of the things I can talk about, they're sort of on embargo because they're Free Comic Book Day related. But
I know about some of those.
I would say the biggest thing that I'm working on and excited about is just ways to expand the things that we've already made. Like we're trying to do more stuff with Hellicious. There's podcasts, like radio play stuff in the works. We're doing the kind of choose your own adventure style book that Alan and Mina and myself have been working on for a while. There's more things going on with Oddwell. Obviously, the merchandising stuff we've been talking about, but I'm kind of, in a lot of ways, I'm focusing on getting our comics into other media that can be enjoyed in other ways. But let's see, what can I talk about? We have a book, probably the next couple things I'm really excited about is a book called Nasquatch by C.W. Cook and other people, which is, Micah, are you lettering that? I think you.
Yes, I am.
Okay. I almost want, I feel like I've talked a lot and Micah hasn't talked that much. Do you want to say anything about that, buddy, or do you want me to just keep going?
I don't actually know that much about it. I just know it's CW and Kelly Williams.
Really?
And it's got Bigfoot and cars. That's about all I know about it.
It's basically like hillbilly Bigfoot driving around in like a '76 Camaro somewhere in Arkansas. And I don't think I need to say much more than that to understand why it's awesome.
All I could think of was like Brock Sampson from the Venture Brothers with that every time he met up with that Sasquatch guy.
Yeah.
This is more like if Brock Sampson and maybe like a King of the Hill character were also like one guy and that guy was Bigfoot. I don't know. So we're pretty stoked about that one. I also picked up a book from some guys here in Portland called Invasion from Planet WrestleTopia, which is basically a sci-fi level cage match on planet Earth from an alien race of like 80s style pro wrestlers who come for basically a grudge match against Earth.
That was a lot to say in one sentence.
Sorry, I ran out of coffee and I'm sort of flagging a little bit.
I just thought it was funny. It's like I don't know. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. So yeah, that one's it's basically like there's kind of an explosion of wrestling comics happening right now, and we found this at just the right time. But this one, in Starburns fashion, a lot of what we do is like mashups of genres. So this is sort of a 80s WWF kind of a thing mashed up with like a very sci-fi story with sort of shades of like the Tholian web from Star Trek and Mad Max.
Oh man, I know a lot of people who would buy that book.
Yeah, we're really excited about that one.
This is a very wrestling-centric community. I've learned, like, I know shit about wrestling. Once I learned wrestling wasn't real as a kid, I said enough. So I moved on with my life. But you're like, what? Wrestling's not real?
It's been fun. It's been fun, guys.
It's so tragic. That's the saddest thing
I know where you live, JP.
Listen, I live in Texas. Come visit. We'll watch anything but wrestling, so it's cool.
The doorbell, and there's just gonna be a fucking chair. Like
you guys do Dallas Fan Expo. I'll be your chauffeur. So there you go.
I also know nothing about wrestling, but I know a lot about wrestling just being near Alan.
Yeah.
Like I just have information.
That's kind of how it is for me because of these guys. Like every week someone brings up wrestling references or books or things, and I'm just like
osmosis learning.
Yeah, so I have no problem with it. Like what you like, man. That's the great thing about comics and everything in general. There's so much opportunity for everyone to enjoy something. But sorry, I didn't mean to like chase a rabbit there, but. Yeah, sorry, Micah. I didn't mean to.
No, it's okay. I'll just cry forever.
So you are the letterer, right, for Hellicious?
Yes, for Hellicious, and
I didn't get to introduce you. I apologize.
It's okay. It's okay. Everyone forgets about letterers.
I don't forget.
Yeah, I didn't even know they existed. No, I'm just kidding.
Starburns is one of the few companies that actually put me on the cover, so. Most people don't.
JP and that chair's gonna be wrapped in barbed wire.
Even though sometimes they misspell my name on the cover, but that's okay.
Don't blame them. Blame them.
I think that was on Oddwell that my name was misspelled.
Micah, and I it's worth saying. I'm pretty sure, and Mina and Alan can attest to this, I'm pretty sure every single review Hellicious has gotten has called out both the colors and the letters as being one of the strongest parts about it. So, of course, we put both of you guys on the cover.
Hey.
Very much appreciated.
Yeah, yes, definitely.
Yeah, I guess as far as like putting in a, like, this is the first time I've actually spoken with so many different working parts of a comic.
Like we have the whole functioning crew right here.
Yeah, we have everyone with the main artist, correct? I mean, that's Kit is the main artist. So I'm used to, like, we had a couple of weeks ago we had Cullen Bunn on with us. We're familiar with him and his writing. That was the first writer that we've actually got a chance to visit with. And he's obviously sorry, yeah.
The kid's watching wrestling while we speak.
Yeah, he is. His brother against the wall. But anyways, it's just kind of cool to see the different working parts, because I agree with the fact that the colorist and letterer, you guys are kind of like the hidden parts that no one ever talks about when it comes to like mainstream. You know, everyone wants to talk about, oh, so and so wrote this or so and so drew this, but there's so much more that goes into a comic book than just a writer and an artist. That's just kind of cool. I appreciate that all of you guys kind of worked with us and got together to do this with us, because it is cool to hear about the other parts of it. And the first time I've ever co-writers, like, this is kind of interesting. You know, how does that work as far as like for creative differences? Like, do you just say, look, I own this, Alan, you sit back.
I'm going further than that. I don't even want to talk about like owning stuff. Like, how do you guys fight to find out what's going to actually end up on print? Like, when it comes to making those critical decisions of like naming the character, like the actions of a certain character, like, you guys flip coins, or do you like meet up, or do you play like a
I can't think of
on Minecraft? I don't know.
I can't think of an argument we've ever had about what a character should do, or is there anything we've ever like seriously disagreed about what should happen?
Like I said at the beginning, there's never been. It's always been like, hey, monster trucks. Everybody's like, yeah, monster trucks, and we just keep going to the next thing. Like, we haven't really. It's weird. It's like we're and this will sound really corny, but like we'll like finish each other's like thoughts and shit. You know, it's like that goes with like
corny.
Like how I think the only person that's ever been privy to see like our like back and forth, because we usually will talk like in a text chat room and we'll come up with like a plot or whatever. And, like, whoever's read them, and it's like it's the ramblings of mad people, I think, but it's also it always gels. Like, we never really had it.
Well, how does that come to mind all at once for me? One is just, if you find the right people that you have the same like kind of taste level with, you don't really have those kinds of differences of opinion. Like, you're kind of you're in the same car going the same direction. The other thing is, like, speaking to the kind of text chain, where you guys actually seem to do a lot of your writing to some degree with me involved. It really is just kind of a riff. It feels like a writer's room almost, of just like, what about this? Oh, and then we could do that. You know, and you guys are kind of leveling each other's ideas up all the time. So I think you're just fortunate that you found a good partner that you don't have that kind of strife with, which is
a big part of it for me is that you respect someone's opinion. If they're like, that idea doesn't work, then you just go, oh, okay.
That's cool.
I think a big part of the conflict that people have creatively is when someone tells you something doesn't work and you insist it does.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you take it too personal, like the criticism.
Yeah, like, you know, if you're a creator, especially if you're a writer, you should have 100 ideas.
Yeah,
it's like that's the thing that's like our only job. Though.
Yeah.
But we spread that to like the entirety of the group. Like, one thing we haven't been able to talk to here, and it's like, well, I'm dying to get him on a podcast. Kit, we really let Kit run wild as he wants. We're kind of in the background, and it's yielded our personal favorite moments. Like, it, like he and we encourage that to everybody on the team. Like, we really have once you're working on Hellicious, you're in the sandbox, spreading your love into it. So it really and I naturally I laugh at the idea of being like, you don't want to do my idea. Like I couldn't even process that kind of thinking, because every time I come up with an idea, I come up with 3 other ideas I wish that I could be doing to it. So you bring into other stuff.
It's like an insecurity thing. It's
Yeah, I would say that definitely is something that if you're feeling that way, I don't know if you should be not just writing with someone, but I don't know if you should be writing yet per se, maybe.
Or you write a novel. You're just
It's important not to get too precious with the specific idea. It's about the cohesiveness of the larger concept rather than a specific moment, And sometimes a joke or whatever can be good, but it also doesn't fit the scene and you have to take it out. And if you get precious about that, you're going to break your scene, So it's just save that joke, put it in the backlog, come back to it on a project someday or whatever. But when you start getting precious, that's when you break it down, in my opinion.
That's to learn the process too. Sometimes just because something is good doesn't mean it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not saying that you have to get rid of it. But you could use it maybe somewhere further down the line or on a different project or something like that.
Yeah. We have a lot of stuff that we've hung on to that we're just Alan has a character that you came up with ages ago that is honestly the funniest thing that I think you've ever said. But it's a little bit too edgy for where we are with Hellicious right now. So we're holding it.
He shall rise. He shall rise.
So, we'll see what happens later.
We're going to find out where you want to put the ratings on this comic.
Yeah,
who's our target audience right now? All right, we're going to bump it up a little bit.
Exactly. If it ever goes there, you'll know.
I do have to say this. I like the fact that Kit isn't here because I think he's like this ominous figure in the room. So I feel as though if he did show up on anybody's channel or Pat in the future, I think he should have a mask or behind a curtain with his voice.
I would lump our entire art team into
it's not even real.
the mural or shrine that Cherry has of Briggy. I especially personally, I put our artists in a similar shrine because it really is just I can't express enough. It's just these guys are the best. They really are. From across the board, it's just it makes our job super easier. I feel it's just having that support group. So it goes back to what we were just talking earlier about how no one really I have yet to ever have anything I'm oh Kit, we can't have that, or vice versa. If Gio wanted to hey, this river is light green, deal with it, we'd probably be yeah, for sure.
Lake of Fire is green. All right.
There's I think that's what helps to keep it a good level of weird. It's it all feels like everyone's having fun working on it. That's what we hope is the case. So.
Yeah, agreed.
Well, it certainly feels that way from my perspective, or a viewer's perspective, or reader's perspective. Hence the reason I wanted to film today and get to know you guys a little bit, and to let other people in the community get to know what's behind this book. So hopefully it's a driving force. Get some more. Our audience is the reader. So that's what we're aiming for, is to get your book in people's hands. And so, Micah, how did you get involved as the letterer for this book? You just
knowing Alan. I'm an actual letterer, but it's not Alan just gave me a job because I'm his buddy. But I lettered Alan's. I guess it was his first comic, Elasticator. I don't know if it was your first comic altogether, or was it just first comic with them?
If I wrote something and it became a thing, Micah Myers puts the letters on it.
Yay!
Birthday cards, everything.
Forever, honestly. If I remember to send birthday cards, but no, we kind of it's like I said earlier when we were coming up with the team, I was like instantly like, well, I'm here, and like Micah's usually following up. Like it's just it goes back to having that comfort level, and like lettering for me is so important. I'm like I'm big into dialogue, you know, and I think having a letterer that you need a letterer who's like your closer. If anyone's a baseball fan, you know, you need someone that you can hand the ball to, and they'll take, you know,
talk hockey, man. Talk hockey.
Mainly most of my career has been like when I've lettered something for somebody I like working with, and then they announce something new. I'm like, well, you're gonna hire me, right? Please hire me again, please. Like we're buddies, right? Remember I did good on the last one. Please hire me. And then they just feel guilty, and then they have to hire me, and that keeps me fed.
That's what it's all about, networking.
Yes, networking, pleading, it's all the same.
It is. It really is.
Please let me letter something else.
My former job, I was a marketing manager for a large company for like 5 years. So I'm all about networking and pleading and you know.
I got no shame, don't you?
You can't when it comes to
hands and knees, begging, pleading, please.
That's like
well, just think if you've got a good thing, why look elsewhere? You know, what's the point if you've already got something good going on?
Yeah, we were talking, you know, kind of before the show. That's kind of where you're at, right? Like you really enjoy working on this book, and you know.
Yeah, I'm happy just to stick with this really, and hopefully I'll have some more stuff coming my way. I mean, we worked on an anthology together as well. I did some colouring for that, and there's just like that was done with a Kickstarter, and there's just like loads of other little bits and bobs. I'm
a huge Kickstarter fan, just for the record. If you have projects or whatever down the pipe, be sure to hit me up because I will pimp that shit for you.
They're pretty good with comics, actually.
No, seriously, because I have some Kickstarter that over the Halloween, I guess, weekend, if you will, and like we're all about supporting rising artists, you know, writers, colors.
There were a lot of Kickstarters going on in the last month.
Oh my god, I'm gonna be broke at the end of November. That's for sure.
Yeah.
There's a ton. One of our friends actually has got her first Kickstarter going right now, so we've been trying to help campaign for that for her, and yeah, it's just
What's
pretty.
That?
What's that?
What is the Kickstarter? What do you?
It's
Samantha Bridge.
Will Not Bow is the name of the book. She's from Canada. Her name is Samantha Branch. She's doing the whole, you know, art, writing, the whole thing. The whole book is hers, basically. So,
cool.
I feel like there's a conversation going on behind the scenes there.
He's all, everybody just write that down, or was it just me? I actually like went off to the side.
So, anyways, yeah, it's you know, you guys have some kind of Kickstarter thing down the road. Doesn't matter if it's SBI related or your individual stuff. If you guys want to come on again and pimp it up, we'll certainly help you on that. Any aspect of that type of stuff. So
I'll have one in January or maybe February for my project. Hopefully, thankfully, I had a Kickstarter like 2 years ago, and it went. Well, it was successful, but it went very badly, and it just kept getting delayed, and the artists delaying, and now I'm still trying to mail all the stuff. And then earlier this year, I was homeless for a little while, so I didn't get. The books have been done since around this time last year, but just getting all the books like physically mailed has been just a long, arduous crapshoot. But yeah. Hopefully, pretty soon I'll have all the rest of them out, and I can start working on the second issue.
We'll have to start a GoFundMe for you, damn, bro. We'll forget this Kickstarter thing.
I mean, if you ever like need help pimping out the Kickstarter, or if you just want, you know, that's what I love about like YouTube. As it, you know, I'm kind of shying away from Hellicious from a little bit. But I mean, I got into the YouTube community because, you know, I'm just a comic book collector. I'm a fan of writers and artists and everything. And, you you know, in the YouTube community, I started seeing videos where people started sharing their thoughts on comics and what they think about them. They started showing their hauls, and that's what got me started doing like videos. And you know, and like I love every aspect of it, from cover to variant cover to the writer, all of it. Like, you know, I'm a graduate theater English major, so you know, I love writing to acting to seeing the whole story being acted out. But like, this community is pretty solid. We have some pretty solid people in this community. And if I learned anything about this comic book community, is that you know, we can pull together. So I mean, if you need help getting something started, we definitely know how to pull together and help each other out. So I mean, if you need, yeah. So I mean, if you guys need us to help out on special projects you guys are doing, then like, you know, I'm more willing to help you guys do whatever you guys need to do.
That's good, man. Thank you. Us too.
Right now, like the most help I think Mina can attest to this, we could use is figuring out a way to clone ourselves so someone can always be writing at nonstop. But other than that, thanks for your help.
Heck yeah, man, that's what we do. Like I said, I'm a big indie guy, 100% or 99% indie. I have to at least give 1% to the
99%
to the big boys. But
we have like a small little disclaimer at the end that says JP is 99.1% indie.
That's basically an accurate statement. So I know that when I die, my kids are going to hate my comic collection. You know, they're going to be like, "You son of a bitch! You could have invested something." College. I'm like, here, you only need so many copies of the Homicidal Maniac that you can go around.
I thought you meant they're gonna hate your collection because they're gonna have to move it all after you die. Which
they will have to move it all for sure, but they're not gonna get.
But we're gonna be dead, so who gives a fuck, right?
I'll be hanging out in hell, so you know.
I love you guys. Have fun moving my fucking 20,000 long boxes.
So I mean, I'm kind of getting ready to wrap up here with you guys, but I just want to. Is there anything that you guys are reading or collecting yourself? Are you guys readers, collectors? I mean, I know we've touched on a few things that you guys have read, but like, is there something besides your own properties that you're into?
Well, this year, my like favorite comic series I've been reading is actually, you know, even though I'm all indie, but I've been in love with America.
oh yeah, that's good stuff.
That book's been crazy. It's funny actually because I grew up with what I'm writing now, which is creator on comics. Like DC I got into through animated series and stuff like that. So I've gradually been reading older DC stories. Like every year as a reader, I'd set myself up like read one of the classics, you know, like that people are always talking about, and then read like some obscure character just to get my own build my own database of knowledge. So that's what I've been reading mostly.
So when you say DC, you mean like, are you including Vertigo?
Yeah, I mean, that's what that's actually funny because I grew up on Vertigo, and I generally always forget, you know, DC Vertigo is the same. But I would say I got into proper DC like Batman and Superman after I think I've read more superhero comics after starting to write comics than before writing them. So.
Interesting.
Cool.
How about you, Gio? We'll go reverse order this time.
Okay. Just looking over my bookshelf. Really into Monstrous at the moment.
Oh.
I've only read the first one, no spoilers. And also, I'm a bit sad about this because it looks like it's discontinued for a while. Everyone thinks I'm going to say Saga. I'm not going to say Saga, even though I do really love it. Saga. Yeah. Is a series called Scales and Scoundrels.
Oh yeah, I read that.
I'm absolutely in love with the colours. I was a bit obsessed with that guy for a while. I think he calls himself Gallard. Yeah. Yeah, I love his work.
You haven't read Monstrous yet?
I've read the first volume. of it.
I love Monstrous.
It's amazing.
Oh my god, so
yeah,
good.
I can't wait. I can't wait to read the next bit.
I guess we'll go to you, Micah.
About am I the next one in your order? Because I'm the last. Oh yeah, I'd be the last one in my order. Never mind. One of my favorite books from a guy that's as big and burly as I am. One of my favorite comics is Giant Days. The Boom book about three. It's main characters of three girls going to college in England, and I think it's England. Pretty sure somewhere in the United Kingdom. But yeah, it's like a slice of life kind of book, but it's funny. But yeah, usually when people don't expect me to say something like that. But also I've been reading Atomic Robo, because the Comixology has like the unlimited thing where you pay like $5 a month and you can get anything. Mm-hmm. So they have all the trades of Atomic Robo are in there, and I read through all of that, and that's great comic books.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it's the guys that do it are also from Virginia, but they're up in Richmond, I think. But I've never met them. Which I've been all over Virginia doing the shows. I can't believe I never run into them. But yeah, that's good stuff.
Great.
And then to you, Nina.
I'm reading all Chester Brown comics right now.
Chester Brown?
Yeah, like the movie and the Happy Clown.
That I'll have to look into.
You may regret it.
Yeah. I don't regret a lot.
It's like you're talking to Rock. He doesn't regret shit.
Well, then maybe you'll like it.
I know what Sean's reading. How about you, Trevor?
Most of what I do right now is just I'm reading actual SBI scripts, so I'm probably going to be kind of boring. Of like, I'm reading a lot of Hellicious right now, Oddwell and other new things coming in.
Oddwell is a great book, also.
Yeah,
I mean, I know I work on it, so I'm a little biased, but I lettered the last issue, and it's super funny. I laughed really hard at it.
Yeah, that's our like definite all ages book, and we're really happy with that one too. And then honestly, like this kind of there's this reminds me a little bit of there's a Seinfeld episode where Elaine is dating a guy who's a furniture mover, and he doesn't want to take his work home, so he has no furniture in his apartment. It's just empty. I've been in like a big like prose mode lately. When I have free time, I've actually been reading like actual novels instead of comics, just to like keep my brain diversified. I don't know if that makes sense, but like as an editor, I don't want to become too comics centric, So I've actually been going back and like reading favorite novels. I've been reading Stephen King. I've found this writer named Neil Stephenson that I'm reading that I really enjoy, John Scalzi. I've done a lot of like nostalgia reading lately, of just like reading stuff from the 80s and 90s, DC Marvel stuff that I was really into as a kid. Also super random shirtless bear fighter. All that stuff I just said, and then
super random. Bear fighter. Go.
Let's see. Shirtless Bear Fighter, man. I know some readers of that book around this community for sure. Yeah. Sorry, I just threw me off.
You're off the stage. Congratulations.
It happens about once an episode. Someone throws me off. Usually it's in the chat. But yeah, that's so you guys. One last kind of question for you, I guess, is was the goal for, I guess this is more for Mina and Alan, was your goal always to make hell fun for all ages?
I don't think there's any other way of making hell.
I want to go to hell. Sign me up.
Don't you worry, buddy. Don't you worry.
We got you.
I've never had any doubts. I'm just trying to get it like sealed in stone,
Yeah, just stamp it in.
Welcome to hell. Love, Cherry.
I think Simon, who I think Trevor mentioned earlier, was a big part of making us feel comfortable with the idea of it being for kids. Because he was like, this is already fine for kids. Like, you don't have to change anything. You don't have to, dumb it down or, make it more palatable. You just need to not swear. basically. And we were like, well, there isn't really any swearing in here anyway. We just need to take it out of like Briggy's dialogue.
Well, have you guys had any backlash from like religious people?
Oh God, I can't wait. I can't wait, but not yet.
There's one scene I can see somebody like getting a little bit ticked, and that's when the guy is on the boat like preaching from the Bible.
Wondered about that one.
Yeah.
He's already on the boat. I personally loved it. I personally
love that too.
I had one guy at a signing bring his kid, and he was pretty religious, and he was like, well, this is why you don't want to go to hell, son. He was like,
this is why I want to go to hell, Dad.
Yeah, I was like, oh,
have you read this? Have you read this, Father?
I'm on a highway to hell.
But you know what? He did buy it, so.
Oh, interesting. I hope that when he got home, he was like, son of a bitch, I failed. Now the kids never want to go to hell.
Yeah.
Now we're all going to hell.
Yeah. I think it was just like, cool, Dad, whatever. Like.
Awesome.
I always appreciate people that are psycho. So, you know, there's that.
I haven't dealt with anything. I think like the people that would react that way already kind of avoid me naturally. So I don't think this would bring any of their attention towards me anyways.
That's what I feel like when people meet me. Like, are you really surprised? Like, really?
Yeah, like I think like if you look at me, look at Hellicious, you're like, yeah.
Don't give me the shocked face.
So,
the title just people already know what's going to be in it.
but I definitely think the best fan reactions we get are parents who have read it with their kids and like they both loved it. That's like the goal, I guess.
Oh, that's good. That's good stuff.
I love people reading it with their kids. That's really the dream for us.
And then, it's how it's meant to be watched. Like, I feel like if Hellicious was like a film franchise, I feel like it'd be one that come out like holiday season. You know, for families to watch.
Yeah, like Addams Family, Invader Zim.
In my world,
that's how I felt like once you guys started when you started talking about moving and branching it off into different areas of life. Like I never thought about it being a cartoon, but once Trevor said there's this could be the next cartoon, I could definitely see it. I can see it on Cartoon Network most definitely. Especially and when he first said that, the first thing I thought of was the part where they go to a game show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely an episode. If anything has been written for a fucking cartoon episode, that whole Wheel of Pain was written for a cartoon episode.
My first thought as an animated show was like the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy.
Fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's literally what I was just thinking about. I was trying to think of a cartoon that would be similar then, and that was the first thing that popped in my head.
Yeah, that's the only cartoon I can compare it to.
Yeah, it's like it was one of my obscure childhood favorites. Not to make anyone seem older, but I was a kid for that, and I loved that same kind of I used to watch it. I'm like, this is messed up, but it's on the channel, so all goes. And I think it's a similar vibe that's always been there.
I just like the fact that you were like, this is messed up, but I'm gonna watch it anyway.
Evil Con Carne was one of my favorite characters, and I was never creative or motivated enough to do the Halloween costume. That was the bear with the evil brain and stomach. That the brain was always talking, and I just loved that. I loved this bear being used as the pod for a really evil brain that lost its body, and that's where I tap into for our humor, our character stuff. So
I like that.
Makes sense.
Just to think of that, that's just very, very obscure. A fucking bear with a brain that's they're two separate entities. What?
The German accent.
but it works. It works.
No, yeah, definitely. And I think it's with Hellicious, like it said, it started as an animated thesis, and for me, I think you can ride like media now can ride very different avenues but still feel the same, regardless of where it goes, and like we do know that if Hellicious ever does get to where we want with media goals, it's still going to always continue, and it's always going to be its own special thing as a comic, first, and it's a vibe that we keep going across through as we keep progressing with it.
I could tell you right now, I love it. Like this volume. Speaking of which, we have to give this away, JP.
We do.
But this is awesome stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you. It means a lot.
I mean, this stuff, like, who comes up with that?
Well, that's Trevor.
I made that page, but it was Alan and Mina that wrote most of the copy, so it was a group effort.
I love it because part of me was just like, man, I wonder if I could actually order this shit. Like, I hope when they go into merchandising that like I can order.
Yeah, that's kind of that's Hellicious goals a little bit, is like make as much of that kooky stuff real as possible.
Yeah.
I still want a Bone Demon plush.
Yes.
Those bone demons.
Yeah, I want a Bone Demon plush. That's what I want.
I'm probably gonna get a Bone Demon tattoo just for you guys.
That'd be crazy. That would be awesome.
I love Cherry.
That's kind of my my body is used for I have my Game of Thrones arm and then my comics arm, but I'll fit a nice bone thing.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, like the Mike Tyson tattoo just around your eye.
Right here, guys. Let's go ahead and do that. This one. I work at night. No one cares.
Cherry for life.
So we'll kind of wrap up here. If you guys have anything you want to plug or talk about before we wrap up, I will just kind of let you. I'll start with Alan, and we kind of work backwards to Trevor. Let you finish up this party.
Well, I would look at like my whole time here was like almost a giant plug. Hellicious. That's basically my foreseeable futures with these guys here. So everything we talked about today, just keep supporting, and anybody in chat that's reading us, please, thank you, and like always, we love always getting feedback. So if you find us on Twitter, always reach out.
Yeah, I'll put you guys' Instagram stuff in the description and all that stuff, and today. On to you, Gio.
Oh, sorry. Too much meat.
No such thing.
Yeah, I just want to plug Hellicious, really. I'll probably be doing a giveaway on my Facebook page, which I can put a link to, but it's like Geo Butler Art. But yeah, I've got some copies of the trade issue of Hellicious, thanks to Micah. Thank you very much. Oh no, it wasn't Micah. Sorry, it's Alan.
It's my original art on my.
I took credit for it. I was like, yeah, me, but I didn't do anything.
I mean, you helped it be made, so thank you. Yeah, that's about it.
Okay. On to you, Micah.
I just want to say thank you, Gio, for drinking with me.
I'm drinking.
Don't
do.
With vodka. That's always say. Always say it's got vodka. That way it feels better.
I have every week pretty much something not lettered came out. You can follow pretty much everything through Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff. My website's michaelletterscomics.com. I'm getting ready to have another anthology. I do a comics wrestling anthology called Kayfabe. There's about to be a third volume out. There's already 2. You can get them on drive through comics.com, but there's also a link on the michaelletterscomics.com. I also have a comic called Disasters that I wrote that was the Kickstarter the physical copy is still mailing out, but it's on Comixology if you want to go ahead and buy the first issue. And that was loud. And the second issue will be kickstarting in January, February next year with artist Javier Caba, who did Blood Brothers for Dynamite, and he did Lucha Brothers for Chino Comics recently. Yeah, he's good people. But yeah, that's me. I'll stop talking.
Well, I see Mina disappeared, so I have to.
She just sent a message. Her laptop died, but she might figure out how to get back on.
Okay.
But I mean, she's gonna plug Hellicious, right?
Right. Well, I mean, like I said, I picked up her the horror comic from Scout recently, so I forget the name, but I'll plug that on my next show when I actually review it. So, so yeah, on to you, Trevor. We'll talk about.
Okay. Well, if we're on social media. That's one thing we always want to plug. Find us. We're at SBI-Press on Twitter. Because there's a. Oh, sorry, my.
Oh, so funny.
I haven't been drinking.
That was weird. There's like
my next comic, man.
I don't know why that happened. My tablet just started to slide for no reason. Anyway, yeah, find us on Twitter, SBI-Press, not SBI Press. That was already taken, and they're like they're like a bank or something. I don't know what it was. It was weird. Anyway, and then we're on Facebook, SBI Press. That's actually one of the easiest ways to get in touch with us if you want to, because I'm usually the one checking Facebook Messenger, and I try to get back really fast because Facebook actually shows me my stats. And I'm very competitive. And I'm like, I want to keep this really high.
That's how I connected with Starburns, is through Facebook.
Nice.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Alan told me to message him, and I did.
Right on. And we are so glad because I can't imagine without you, dude. But yeah, obviously the trade is out. If you don't have a local comic shop, I'd say go to Barnes and Noble because, like I said, those guys did a big buy-in for us, and I want to support them. I really appreciate it. We do have, today's the last day on a giveaway that we're doing through a group called Shelf Awareness, and Alan and Mina actually signed those copies. They're giving away 10, like basically after today, they're going to start the giveaway. So if you want to do that, check that out. We posted on Hellicious and SBI Press's Facebook page if you want to find that link. But then, yeah, other than that, just keep up with us, and we'll keep posting updates as we go.
And what was the name of that giveaway website? I'm gonna put it in the chat real quick.
It's actually at Shelf Awareness if you want to find them on Twitter, but they're called Shelf Awareness.
Okay, that's easy enough.
Yeah.
Giveaway. It's on Twitter.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to be giving away one copy. It's not signed, obviously.
I can sign it if you want to, but it's not.
Sign it?
In fact, it may degrade. May come the curse that I did not mean to.
When you guys want to just kind of put you on the spot here, you want to pick a.
Whoa. First off, Mina.
Oh shit! Yeah, sorry, you popped back.
What?
Promote yourself.
You get to talk.
Oh, okay. What am I working? Well, we have a lot more Hellicious coming up. We've got the 4 volumes that we just got renewed for, and then we're doing the Pick Your Perdition, which is, I don't know if anybody else mentioned this while my computer was dead. Which is the
we're all bad business people.
Like an interactive book, like a choose your own adventure, but not for legal reasons. And Trevor is doing the art for that, if he didn't mention that.
I did not. I am the worst about plugging myself as an artist. I'm still getting used to that.
Yeah. Trevor is moving from his editor role into artist. Yeah, very exciting. And then Simon, who we've mentioned many times, who is a ghost like Kit, will be working on that one in Trevor's usual role, which is pretty cool.
So is this a permanent move or just
No, just for this one book. It's going to be kind of a companion piece to the main story, and we didn't want to pull Kit away from keeping the main story going, so I stepped up and those pages. And then, yeah, because I'll be busy doing the art, Simon, who has been also been really involved in developing Hellicious, he's going to be the main editor. I'll still give notes and stuff, but I just wanted some oversight, so I wasn't bogarting 2 major roles on an important book for us.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah. It should be a really fun one. If you're familiar with those interactive novels, I think it'll be good. It was a challenge. We just got the first draft finished, and I think it was a challenge to write, but I think it's going to be really exciting to read.
Well, right on. So
it'll teach you more about Briggy. It's kind of about the the void Briggy left behind and after his demise, and so we're kind of playing it, expanding the universe a little bit by dealing with Briggy's band.
And we're
Demise, when I say, is it a demise or was it a promotion?
He's replaced by Ozzy Osbourne.
I would say the Pick Your Own Prediction is it probably gives you the most overview of Hell that we've gotten this far. You definitely see many different corners of it, and if you really want to get into you really want to get some background and all of that into it, I would definitely recommend it. Even if Choose Your Own Adventures on your own thing, I think it's something that it'll definitely open up a lot more avenues for us for our world.
I think we talked about it a little bit in the announcement, but you play as the replacement for Briggy Bundy's band, and you're going to get to choose who that is and how you're doing as the new Briggy.
Nice.
Mark Wahlberg and Rockstar.
Nice. Yeah, so really exciting stuff, and we're basically just 2019. We're doubling down on Hellicious. We want to do everything we possibly can with this title because we love it so much.
Well, I'll be on board with you guys for sure. Whatever I can do to help support this book, I will. For those of you in the chat, I don't know where Pope went. Probably had to go relieve some beer. If I know him well enough. We do have a trade to give away. I do have an extra copy of issue 1 I'm going to give away, but I'll do that on a different show.
Cool.
Just when we have a little more. Maybe I'll do it on the rewind or something. But anyways, I don't know where the hell he went. So before I say our farewells, I want to thank all of you guys for making time out of your lives. I know this is 2 hours of your life you never get back. So thank you
for having us.
Oh,
Thanks
absolutely.
for having us.
Thanks. It was fun. I always love doing shows.
Well, anytime. We're a weekly show mostly, and this week has been 4 times weekly. So, hey, there he is. How's your bladder?
I was gonna say I had to make room for more beer.
I know my man well. So, well, yeah, we're just wrapping up here, man. So, if you have any final thoughts or words of,
how are we gonna give this away?
Yeah, give it away. Do your thing. If you guys, I was gonna have one of them pick a random trivia question if they want to. I know you got some creative minds here, so have fun with it. No
So if anybody has a way they want to give a question that they want to give to the chat.
Ooh, I have a question.
Ooh, here we
go. Does it have to be involved with Hellicious?
Buddy, you can ask any question you want to, and if they get
All
it right.
Oh, if it's okay, I just had an idea. It just popped in my head because of just said the thing about Rockstar and Mark Wahlberg. What band is that based on? What real band is Rockstar based on? Where they lost the lead singer and had to find a replacement.
Good question.
Cool.
Yeah.
For this. We're not supposed to answer, right? Somebody on Twitter.
Yeah, somebody. Yeah, they have to answer. Yeah. I mean, we can. It would be very much easy for someone if we said it.
I'm just imagining percentages forever.
So there you go, chat. Answer that question and you win.
I have no idea what movie.
Pope C said Bon Jovi.
Solid.
Do y'all know what it is?
I didn't.
I have no clue what movie you're talking about.
Steel Dragon.
You don't? That was the band from the movie, wasn't it?
I'm not sure. That's what one of the chat says. Steel Dragons.
That's the name of the band in the movie.
Okay.
It's the real life band. The singer left.
The Crew.
Journey.
No.
Motley Crue.
No.
Oh, hey, Bad Avenger, what's up?
The singer left the band after he came out, and they kind of ditched him. And then eventually they brought him back because it's like it's an iconic band.
I was gonna say that's a huge hint.
I guess that rules out Steel Panther.
Come on, guys.
I mean, if you just look up iconic rock bands that have a gay singer, I mean, that's probably...
Pope Service says Judas Priest.
That's it.
There you go.
My man.
And that's 2 wins in a row for Pope Service, man. I got a book to send him from last week. Damn. Good to be a pope.
Rob Halford from Judas Priest came out on stage with spikes and leathers, and I mean, dressed like an S&M guy, and he came out as gay, and they were like, "What? What? Like he was hiding it. Like,
you guys really?
Sometimes hiding in plain sight, man. That's just how it is. But, all right, guys. Well, I'm gonna shut this show down. I appreciate you guys being with us. I appreciate the chat. You guys watch it on the rewind. Be sure to check out the book. I'll put the links in the description. I'll talk to you guys next Thursday.
I do want to say thank you guys for joining us.
thanks for having us,
guys. This book
for having us. It's been fun. I would definitely do it again.
It's
yeah,
awesome.
definitely.
Thank you.
So thank all of you. Thank you for drinking with me.
Thank you.
Nice to see Gio and Trevor
Still
in person.
drinking?
Not in person, but
It's close enough for this is
yeah.
as personal as I get in my life, so I understand.
Start doing this like not on air.
Yeah.
I'd always love to do this.
To our team.
I mean, working in comics, you mostly are. I mean, if you're an artist, usually in comics, you are just kind of in your house by yourself all day. So, like, human interaction is nice.
Man, anytime you feel lonely, I will do a hangouts with you, man. I don't know how much company I'll be because I'm going to be drinking and like bagging important comics, but I'll do it. I don't care.
Later, chat.